Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As much as I respect and admire, the track record of the member from Calgary Buffalo, and as much as I respect any discussion on education, I'm not going to be able to support this member's bill. And I agree with what was said from the other side, and had a mini speech prepared, but I think I'd just like to present a few points, as many of them have been covered already, and much of them, I believe, are in direct opposite of what was just presented. I think a distinguishing feature of Alberta schools is the fact that we have the choice that we do. It is all about choice in Alberta education. It's what makes us so strong, that kids have options to go to different schools. Public schools are doing a great job, and I want to say that I'm a big supporter, and every chance I get I tell people my children go to the public school system. I went to the public school system. You could argue that they might have done a little bit better with me, but here I am in any event, and I'm quite proud of how things went. It's hard for them to be all things to all people in public schools, and the inclusion issue that we've talked about here, and I know the Minister of Education and I have talked about, and I've heard it from several around the province. It's hard to balance all of the needs in today's classrooms. And some of these private schools are wonderful about providing opportunities for kids that might not otherwise have them. This motion, if passed, or bill, pardon me, if passed, would take away those options for a lot of kids. To suggest that the government shouldn't provide any funding, I think, is disconnected from what I hear when I go around the province. I hear from people that obviously choice is good, and we should be supporting parents and kids to go ahead and access education in different ways. You could present also, I think, if you looked at the debate and just tried to separate any of the emotion that ties you to the pro or con, that choice has made our public system stronger. Public schools have stepped up because of it. They've offered unique programs as well, and it is a benefit to the system. If we were to take all of these kids out of the private system and put them into the public system, and I know that one member suggested that would happen, and another suggested that it might not, I'm not sure we'd have the funding right now in the public system the way that it's set up. If you had to top up that 30% for all of the kids that could no longer go, if you took away the funding for private schools and essentially eliminated that choice for many kids, I don't know what the dollar figure would be, but that would be worse for public education. Not to mention, I'm not sure where we would put them all. You ask where the government would get the money if we did such a thing, and the previous speaker did mention fees. On that point, I agree with her wholeheartedly, and I promise not to use this as a soapbox issue to get onto the fees subject, but it will indulge me to make a point. We've gotten to a point now in the public system that mandatory fees have become a way of survival for a lot of boards to make things work. And if we were to suddenly eliminate the funding for private schools, I can't imagine the fees that our kids would be charged in the public system. Parents want choice for their own reasons, and if that niche market exists, and if a school can make a go of it, I think what we're doing is increasing the level of tolerance in society. We're giving people a chance to grow in their own areas. We're not saying it's one size fits all. This is public education. That's it. It's one of the greatest things about Alberta. In my riding, we have a specialized Sikh school. It's a tremendous school. These kids are phenomenal coming out of that school, and they have every right to go to that private school. There's another Edge school in Springbank that's wonderful. We've talked about Quest in the past, I know in my caucus, and the great work that it does. And, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Quest did begin as a not-for-profit society to enable students with special challenges to learn and develop to their maximum potential in a caring and safe environment, something that allows them to focus on exactly that and provide that for parents and their students. And why shouldn't they have access to that if there's a market for it? Clearly. It's our duty to make sure that those things happen. they grew into a designated special education school. I believe, again, they combine therapy and education in each of the classrooms. The goal is so that students can achieve their maximum potential. That is the goal, I know, of any school, be it public, private, homeschool, charter. Every child is unique, and we are so blessed in Alberta to have the choices that we have, and as parents, we are. As I said earlier, I'm a big fan of the public system, but I'm not a fan of taking money away from the private schools and the systems, because I think they serve us well. I mentioned choice and innovation. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention charter schools and, you know, the great work that they've been able to do. And you can see the pride when you go around and travel and you meet with these individuals and find out how the students are responding. And I said earlier that public schools have responded to competition in private. I believe that they have, and they've increased the programs that they offer kids. We should be discussing ways, I think, to continue the culture of educational choice in Alberta and to provide for our kids and innovation in our province. I clearly won't be supporting this motion, but I just want to make one final point, because sometimes people want to label those that choose another option as intolerant. That's the part that really sticks with me and everybody that I speak to, or the great majority of people. It is not intolerant to have religious views of your own. It is not intolerant to think that sport is good for your child, or art is good for your child, or this special needs suits you. That is tolerance. That's what's made Alberta what it is. And a bouquet to that side who recognized that with Bill 3 and you know, the current education minister who made the changes that he did. I think, again, to the member from Calgary Buffalo, thank you for the motion. I think I've made my points loud and clear. I won't be supporting it, and I will conclude by saying I think we've got the greatest education system, although some pressure points, in the world. We've got to work on those, but I'm proud of it.
Thank you, honourable member.